What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City. As always, I'm Taylor, and today we are checking out 41 WWE WrestleMania facts that sound fake but are 100% true. This is uploaded by WrestleMania. I will put the original video in the description down below if you guys want to check that out. But this is a longer video, so I'm not going to waste too much time, so that way I can get right into it because this video is 28 minutes long, and I don't want to be sitting here having to pause, comment on a few things, and this video turned out to be an hour long. So we're going to try to make it as short as possible. But before we get into it, hit that like button if you're enjoying this, or if you enjoy this video, and hit that subscribe button. Come join the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City, for all of your wrestling content. We would like to hit 400 subscribers by WrestleMania 41. We're just 18 days away or so away from that, but we can't do that if you don't hit the subscribe button. It only takes like 5 seconds of your time. And yeah, so let's not waste any more time, and let's check out these 41 WrestleMania facts that are sound fake but are 100% true. So let's get into it. I remember that.
That's got to be some sort of record.
41
I think it was,
WrestleMania
yeah.
facts that sound fake, but are actually 100% true. Number 41, Vince McMahon has had more singles matches than CM Punk. Vince McMahon has been shy to step into the ring at WrestleMania. The former WWE chairman has wrestled a total of 5 times at the event. McMahon has lost 4 of those matches, losing to names such as Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels. McMahon's only victory came in 2022 when he defeated Pat McAfee in what happened to be McMahon's final ever wrestling match. Shockingly, McMahon has had more singles matches on the grand stage than CM Punk, who's had just 4. Punk has been involved in a lot of multi-man matches, and his 4 singles matches have been against Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, and The Undertaker. Number 40, Taka Michinoku is the last Japanese-born wrestler to win at WrestleMania.
That's
Now, as things stand, Taka Michinoku is the last Japanese-born pro wrestler to have a victory at Mania. The former light heavyweight champion's victory at WrestleMania 14 marked this occasion, and before that, the honor would go to the tag team The Orient Express, who won at WrestleMania 6, defeating the Rockers. Now you must be thinking, surely there's one Japanese-born wrestler who's won at WrestleMania since then, but other notable names such as Shinsuke Nakamura, Asuka, and Io Sky have never won on the grand stage. But in relation to Sky, she has the potential to break this record when she defends the Women's World title at WrestleMania 41. And if she wins, that streak will then be broken. Number 30.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that that streak is broken because I do hope that Io Sky wins that match. To me, I just don't want to sit through another Rhea Ripley world title reign right now. So, fingers crossed that Io Sky can break that record and, retain the world title at WrestleMania. But
39, the morbid WrestleMania 7 coincidence. Now, unfortunately, WrestleMania 7 has a rather ominous and distressing statistic. Both Kerry Von Erich, who wrestled as a Texas Tornado, and Dino Bravo, who competed in a 1v1 contest, passed away within 2 years of the show. Coincidentally, both passed away from gunshot-related deaths. Additionally, the legendary Bravo is the only wrestler to have competed at WrestleMania to have been murdered. Number 38, family members to sing the national anthem. Family members of notable pro wrestlers singing the national anthem is an established concept in WWE. However, it's only happened on 2 occasions. At WrestleMania 5, Rockin' Robin sang the national anthem, and Robin is Jake the Snake Roberts' half-sister. At WrestleMania 8, Reba McEntire sang the national anthem, and she's Tito Santana's biological sister. Number 37, RVD and Bianca Belair currently have the longest unbroken WrestleMania streak. Currently, both Rob Van Dam and Bianca Belair have the longest unbroken WrestleMania streak in WWE. Both are 4-0, yet there are some that say Belair's streak doesn't count as she competed in the Battle Royal at WrestleMania 34 and lost. But in terms of singles matches, the statistic still stands. If Belair wins a match at WrestleMania 41, then her streak will extend to 5-0, overtaking RVD in the process. Number 36.
yeah, I mean, I've heard about Bianca's WrestleMania streak for quite a while, and yeah, I mean, WWE could very well have her win that match and keep her WrestleMania streak intact. Now, I don't know if now it's a triple threat match, which it's more than likely going to be a triple threat match. I don't know if she took the loss, if that would. I don't know if people are going by just like singles records because people obviously aren't, counting that battle royal that she was in as a loss. So who knows? But I mean, I don't think she'll ever hit, 21-0. But like I said, who knows? She very well could.
The Undertaker's total entrance time. Now, The Undertaker's special entrance was also a vital part of his WrestleMania presentation. Now, the total time for all his entrances combined is a total of 97 minutes and 20 seconds for him to have his entrance. And this is
Damn.
naturally longer than any match in WrestleMania history. Number 35,
Yeah.
The Undertaker's entrance was once longer than his actual match. Before The Undertaker's entrance at WrestleMania 34, it took him a total of 5 minutes and 55 seconds to enter the ring, which was significantly longer than the Dead Man's match versus John Cena. There was a lot of discourse at the time of the match, as fans were heavily disappointed that this dream match couldn't even make it to the 3-minute mark.
Yeah,
Even
it was
The Undertaker
pathetic.
himself expressed his disappointment publicly, as he would go on to record to state that he had trained for a full-length matchup. Number 34, Lawrence Taylor has main evented more WrestleManias than CM Punk. CM Punk is arguably the greatest name to never main event a WrestleMania show. The crazy thing is that NFL legend Lawrence Taylor has main evented more WrestleManias than CM Punk, as Taylor main evented WrestleMania 11 against Bam Bam Bigelow. With Punk now back full-time in WWE.
Well, I mean, Punk's about to tie that record because he's going to be main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania 41. So I hope Lawrence Taylor held on to that record for as long as he could, because that record ain't going to last much longer. So you got like 17 days.
WWE, this is likely to change, as it's almost a certainty that Punk main events a WrestleMania show before he hangs up his boots forever.
And
Number
he
33, The Undertaker's brother passed away during the filming of the Boneyard match. The Undertaker's performance in the Boneyard
didn't know
match
about
versus
this.
AJ Styles received much praise, specifically because
Great
the Phenom's
match.
brother passed away as he was filming the cinematic masterpiece. The Undertaker would share this personal story during his acclaimed WWE Network documentary. We were on our way back to the WWE PC, and I was in the car with Triple H and Michael Hayes. My phone started to ring, and I looked down, and it was my niece. And then something just told me in my head, you need to answer that call. And in the middle of all this stuff that was going on with WrestleMania, when everything goes perfect, it's hectic and stressful. But now I have to call all my brothers and let them know, and then call my mother knowing what that was going to do to her, not being able to be there. It's just another indication of how important being present with your family is, because you never know what's going to happen. So it was an extremely rough day. Now, even though his
Dang.
brother passed away, Undertaker still managed to finish the filming for the Boneyard match itself, and it would be a beautiful send-off to the WWE Hall of Famer. Number
Yeah,
32,
that was a great match.
WrestleMania 9
That
took
sucks,
place
man,
in
that
a
you have
parking
to-
lot. Well, WrestleMania 9 had the most unique set WWE has ever delivered, as it built a custom set in the parking lot of Caesar's Palace. WWE promoted the event as the world's largest toga party, and the arena was made to look like a Roman Colosseum. Due to WWE expecting upwards of 70,000 for an annual WrestleMania event, it's unlikely that WWE would ever create something of this scale again.
No, and
Number
that
31,
WrestleMania
John Cena has
sucked.
never had a WrestleMania match as a heel until John Cena was a babyface in WWE from 2003 to 2025, and this meant that during all of his WrestleMania appearances, Cena never once had a match as a heel. This is now about to change, however, as with Cena turning heel at this year's Elimination Chamber event, his WrestleMania 41 WWE title match versus Cody Rhodes will mark Cena's first WrestleMania match as a heel and Cena's first match as a heel.
I could have swore that he was a heel when he fought Big Show for the U.S. title, but I guess he was just doing the whole like Doctor of Thugonomics, but he was also a babyface. So, man, that's crazy. About time we're getting a heel Cena.
In general since late 2003. Number 30, Stone Cold Steve Austin never walked in as champion. Stone Cold Steve Austin main evented
That's
multiple
crazy.
WrestleMania events, but the interesting thing about Austin is that he never walked into the show as reigning WWE champion. That is if you don't count the $1 million belt. But with that being said, every time Austin competed for the WWE title, he won the match in the main event. Austin main evented and won the top prize in WWE at the following Mania events as WrestleMania 14 by defeating Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 15 by defeating The Rock, and WrestleMania 17 by once again defeating his arch nemesis, The Rock. Number 29, The
That's
Rock
crazy.
has never successfully
That's crazy that a guy like him never walked into Mania as the champion. And it's crazy that The Rock never successfully defended his WWE title at WrestleMania.
defended the WWE title.
That's crazy
The Rock has
back-to-back
defended the
facts.
WWE title on several occasions on the grand stage, yet the final boss has never successfully defended the title. At WrestleMania 15, The Rock dropped the title to Stone Cold Steve Austin. At WrestleMania 17, The Rock once again dropped the title to Austin. And finally, at WrestleMania 29 in 2013, The Rock dropped the title to John Cena.
Dang, that's crazy.
Additionally, The Rock has never won the WWE title at Mania, which is a shame, as it's a common consensus amongst fans that The Rock should have walked out of WrestleMania 16 as WWE Champion. Number 28,
Yeah.
the WrestleMania 29 to 32 prophecy. WrestleMania 29 to 32 had a rather fascinating trend, and it related to the second match on the show. For all of these WrestleMania events, one of the names featured on the second match of the show would end up competing for the title and receiving a major push at the next pay-per-view event. For WrestleMania 29, Ryback was
Wow.
defeated by Mark Henry, and following this, Ryback would turn heel and embark in a feud with WWE Champion John Cena. The two
Yeah.
would then wrestle at their Extreme Rules event, as well as at the Payback pay-per-view. For WrestleMania 30, the New Age Outlaws and Kane were defeated by The Shield, and following this show, Kane would revert to his demonic mask persona and challenge WWE Champion Daniel Bryan at the 2014 Extreme Rules event. For WrestleMania 31, Randy Orton would defeat Seth Rollins, and the two would then run it back at Extreme Rules 2015, but this time with Rollins as reigning WWE Champion.
That's crazy.
But finally, for
This is a
WrestleMania
crazy
32,
fact.
AJ
Yeah.
Styles was defeated by Chris Jericho, and AJ would then receive the push of a lifetime by challenging Roman Reigns for the title at the next two consecutive pay-per-view events. This trend would be
That's a
broken at
crazy
WrestleMania
stat.
33, as neither Kevin Owens or Chris Jericho were given a main event push following the showcase of the Immortals. Number 27, Triple H has had the most losses at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
It's a
I've
common
heard this one.
misconception that
I've heard
Triple
this
H
one
has
many
this
times.
outstanding win-loss record at WrestleMania, but that simply isn't the case. In fact, Triple H has the most losses at WrestleMania out of anyone in WWE history. The game has lost to names such as
Wild.
The Ultimate Warrior, John Cena, and even Seth Rollins. Whilst there's certainly an argument that Triple H should have lost more matches to Booker T and potentially even Sting, he deserves a ton of
I
credit
do
for
think he
being
should have
willing
lost to
put
Booker
people
T.
over during the biggest show of the year. Number 26, The Undertaker has WrestleMania victories over every member of Evolution.
Yeah,
The
I've
Evolution
heard this
stable
one
is
as
one of
well.
the most decorated stables in WWE history. Yet when each respective member collided with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, things didn't go to plan. The first name of the popular group to face the
He
dead
beat
man
Triple
on the
H
grand
like
stage
3
was
times.
Triple H. The game would try his luck at ending the streak at WrestleMania 17, and he made subsequent failed attempts at WrestleMania 27 and 28 respectively.
28 was such a
Ric Flair
great
would
match.
challenge the dead man at WrestleMania 18 in a vastly underrated match, and just 3 years later, Randy Orton would then try his luck. Finally, in 2007, Batista would lose his world title to The Undertaker in a match that took everyone by surprise due to its sheer quality. Number 25,
Yeah.
Incorrect Marketing. The WWE liked to market WrestleMania 25 as the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. This made the event seem grand and epic, but in reality, this was a factually incorrect marketing tagline. WrestleMania 25 was not the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, it was the 24th anniversary of the biggest show of the year. WWE,
Dang.
well, likely Vince McMahon, failed to understand how anniversaries worked, and this was something that they received vast criticism for back in 2009. Number 24, WrestleMania
That-
19 is
how do you-
notable for this.
How do you mess something like
WrestleMania
that
19
up?
received vast acclaim from fans, and it's ultimately a show that has aged extremely well. The show
Yeah,
featured
it's a
various
great
top
Mania.
matches, and WWE would decide to have the highly anticipated Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar WWE title match main event the show. Interestingly, the main event matchup between Lesnar and Angle is the only WrestleMania event to date to feature two wrestlers using their real-life names. Due to WWE renaming virtually
Wow.
all of their talent, the chances of this ever happening again are very slim. Another fact about the match is that it
Yeah.
almost didn't main event the show. The initial match scripted to go on last was The Rock vs Stone Cold Part 3, but due to various reasons including Austin's health, the call was made for Angle and Lesnar to receive the honor. Number 23, WrestleMania 1 took place
Pretty interesting fact.
when? WrestleMania 21 was a true turning point for WWE, and it's widely regarded as one of the most important shows they've ever delivered. The show took place at the iconic Madison Square Garden, and the crazy thing was that the WWE simply wasn't the priority for the Garden during the day of the inaugural WrestleMania, so the Garden made WWE hold a show in the afternoon. There was another sporting event set for the evening, so WWE had to pack up and go with immediate effect. Whilst the first WrestleMania seemed like an inconvenience for MSG, the historic venue would go on to host several other WrestleMania events, and the venue would quickly realize the value of the WWE and the WrestleMania brand. Number
Yeah.
22, Michael
Wow.
Cole, the WrestleMania GOAT. The Undertaker's WrestleMania win streak is legendary, But with The Undertaker now suffering numerous losses on the grand stage, this now means that Michael Cole officially has a better track record than the Dead Man at WrestleMania. Cole has competed in one WrestleMania event that came in 2011 when he wrestled Jerry Lawler in an atrocious match at WrestleMania 27. Cole won this match via DQ, meaning he has a 100% record at WrestleMania, and this is unlikely to ever change. Number 21.
Well, I mean, same could be said for RVD and Bianca Belair. They both have a 100% win record at WrestleMania. So, I mean, I guess if Michael Cole, I guess he's the GOAT of commentary and he's the GOAT of WrestleMania, according to this stat.
William Regal and the Intercontinental title. As the talented William Regal made his entrance at WrestleMania 18, fans noticed something rather unusual. Regal was bizarrely wearing the Intercontinental title upside down. WWE clearly realized this and attempted to not show a close-up of the title around Regal's waist. According to Regal, he was in a massive rush to get through the curtain, and he somehow managed to fasten the belt the wrong way round. Number 20, Edge and the Money in the Bank connection. Edge was the inaugural winner of the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 21, and the WWE Hall of Famer would go on to be directly linked to every cash-in from a wrestler who won the briefcase at WrestleMania. In 2006 at One Night Stand, Rob Van Dam would formally cash in on John Cena in a featured match. Edge would insert himself into the match and assist RVD in winning the WWE title. The third winner, Mr. Kennedy, would drop the briefcase to the man himself, giving Edge the opportunity to cash in on The Undertaker on SmackDown, which in turn allowed Edge to win the world title. In 2008, CM Punk won the briefcase, and Punk was able to cash in on then world champion Edge.
I never realized this.
In 2009, Punk cashed in his second briefcase following a grueling world title ladder match between Edge and Jeff Hardy at the Extreme Rules event.
And
finally, in 2010, Jack Swagger would cash in on world champion Chris Jericho after Edge had ambushed Y2J on SmackDown. Number 19, The Rock in Philadelphia. The two WrestleMania events have taken place in Philadelphia. Both WrestleManias featured The Rock in the main event. WrestleMania 15 was the first show in the city, and the main event featured The Rock versus Stone Cold for the WWE title. WrestleMania 40 in 2024 was then also in the city, and the Final Boss main evented night one by teaming up with Roman Reigns to take on Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. The Rock is the only wrestler to appear on both shows in a featured match, as whilst The Undertaker appeared on both respective
25-year
shows,
difference.
the Dead Man wasn't
That's
booked
crazy.
in a scheduled match at WrestleMania 40. He was there to more or less interfere. Number 18, Charlotte Flair's WrestleMania history. Charlotte Flair is often never far away from the women's title picture in WWE. The crazy thing is every WrestleMania match Flair's wrestled in has been a championship match. Flair first wrestled on the grand stage back at WrestleMania
she's getting another one this year,
for the women's
sadly.
title, and fast forward to WrestleMania 41, and Flair is set to challenge Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's title once again.
Man, I
Number
hope she
17,
loses.
Kofi Kingston is a history maker. Kofi Kingston made history in 2019 when he became the first black wrestler to win a world title at WrestleMania. Kingston defeated the legendary Daniel Bryan in a WrestleMania Classic to solidify himself in history. This was a payoff to the acclaimed Kofi Mania storyline, which saw the fans firmly get behind Kingston and decided that they were going to push the idea of WWE crowning him as WWE Champion. Number 16, Father vs. Son at WrestleMania. Whilst father versus son matches in wrestling are rare, two have actually taken place at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania 17, Vince and Shane McMahon collided in a wild yet incredibly entertaining spectacle. Then at WrestleMania 39, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio collided in the payoff to their extended rivalry. Number 15, WrestleMania 35's runtime was shocking. It spoke volumes that by the time that WrestleMania 35 main event started, WrestleMania had been on the air for almost 5.5 hours, and this didn't include the 2-hour pre-show. WrestleMania 35 is the longest WWE pay-per-view of all time, coming in at 5 hours, 24 minutes, and 16 seconds as it ended at midnight for those in attendance. A wrestling show should never go on for this long, and it was hardly a surprise that the fans were utterly dead for the last few matches. Thankfully, this would be the last WrestleMania event of this nature, as following WrestleMania 35, WWE would move forward with a 2-night format for WrestleMania, which has been received extremely well. This allows matches to breathe, and it avoids the 5-hour plus show, which completely exhausts the audience. Number 14, Michael Cole is a legend.
Another Michael Cole fan?
Deserved a ton of praise for his longevity in WWE. And as things stand, Michael Cole is the only WWE commentator in history to call WrestleMania events between 4 different decades, those being the WrestleManias beginning with a 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is an incredible achievement, especially when you consider
He's
the
the
fact
GOAT,
that
in my
Cole was
opinion.
initially hired by WWE to be a backstage interviewer. Cole is without a doubt a future WWE Hall of Famer, and it'll be
Yes.
interesting to see if this great fact is mentioned in his induction speech. Number 13, WrestleMania 8,
He's the
9,
GOAT, in my
and 10
opinion,
all
of
had matches
commentaries.
cut. The
Commentary.
matches being cut from the WrestleMania card due to time constraints is usually in the modern era. Yet during the first 10 years of WrestleMania, it occurred at 3 consecutive Mania events. At WrestleMania 8, the British Bulldog vs. the Berserker was pulled, and at WrestleMania 9, Kamala vs. Bam Bam Bigelow was cancelled due to time constraints. And finally, at WrestleMania 10, due to Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon running over, a 10-man tag featuring IRS, Jeff Jarrett, Rick Martel, and the Head Shrinkers against Tatanka, the 1-2-3 Kid, Bob Holly, and the Smoking Guns was pulled. It was reported at the time that this didn't go down well, as the 10 names were literally dressed and ready to compete. And it must have been such a blow to
That
miss out
had
on
to
WrestleMania
suck.
due to
Yeah,
wrestlers going over their allocated time. According to Jim Ross on his podcast, this made HBK and Ramon look selfish and defiant. Guys
Yeah.
got bumped from the biggest match of their lives. Of course you're gonna get upset. So here's the deal. That match, they just had spots laid out. They meaning Shawn and Razor. They wanted to get them in. They thought the spots that they were building to at the end of the match were imperative. So with that being said, they torpedoed and steered the course and they went long. You can't justify it being good. If it were them and they were in an advertised match that got cut completely, they'd still be yelling and screaming, raising hell. It was a good match, but it would have been good on time. They were looked upon as selfish and just defiant. Now we gotta disagree with Jim Ross.
I mean-
What would you rather have? A cinematic match or a throwaway 10-man tag that could have been
Yeah,
on
fair
Raw,
enough.
which
Yeah.
actually happened as they got the match, just not on WrestleMania. Number 12,
Still
WrestleMania
sucked.
31
Well, and then,
was
I know they also had there was some kind of women's match for WrestleMania 29, I think, that got canceled as well because the I think it was Taker and Punk went on too long, so they had to cut that match to get to Cena and Rock that night. So, I mean, it happens. I hate that it happens to them, but I mean, oh well, I guess.
cursed. Well, WrestleMania 31 is considered as one of the greatest WrestleMania events of all time.
Yeah,
However, there's an
it's
urban
really
legend
good.
that the title holders following the show were all cursed. Every single name that was champion coming out of the show was injured heading into WrestleMania 32 the following year. Then WWE Champion Seth
Wow.
Rollins would miss WrestleMania 32 due to a serious knee injury. Then
Yeah.
US Champion John Cena would miss WrestleMania due to an injury suffered on the road to the show. It was reported that Cena would have faced The Undertaker on the grand stage, and it's worth noting that Cena did appear on the show, but he wasn't medically cleared to compete in a featured match. The then Intercontinental Champion Daniel Bryan was forced to retire a matter of weeks before the show. The then Divas
Damn.
Champion Nikki Bella suffered a life-altering neck injury which forced her to contemplate retirement. The then Tag Team Champions Tyson Kidd and Cesaro were both injured, with Kidd being forced to retire and Cesaro not being cleared until Raw after WrestleMania. It's crazy that WWE even had a show after all of these injuries.
I never
Number
realized
11
that,
are Stone
honestly.
Cold's non-wrestling appearances. But with Stone Cold Steve Austin officially retiring in
He's had a bunch.
2003, this meant that any subsequent WrestleMania appearances would come via cameo appearances or guest referee roles. Austin would
Yep.
come out of retirement in 2022 to face Kevin Owens, but this still meant that Austin had been booked in non-wrestling roles as many times as he actually competed on the show. This
That's
ratio is
crazy.
only likely to go in favor of the non-wrestling side as the years go on, as it seems unlikely that Austin will ever wrestle again, but the former WWE champion has ruled out future WrestleMania cameos. Number 10, Kevin Owens wanted to jump from a pirate ship.
I remember
Both
hearing
WrestleMania
this.
36 and 37 had a pirate theme, and the initial plans called for Kevin Owens to dive off the pirate ship that was featured on the staging.
I remember
According
hearing
to
about
Kevin
this,
Owens on
yep.
X, he first got the idea back in January of 2020. True story. I went to a show there in January. As soon as I saw it, I told myself no matter what I was doing at Mania, I'd find a way to jump off that thing. I even took pics of it to figure out the best way to go about it. It didn't work out, but I found the next best thing. This spot would be cancelled when WrestleMania 36 was moved to the WWE Performance Center
Yep.
due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Or when it came to WrestleMania 37, it was reported by Fightful Select that the spot was cancelled due to adverse weather conditions. Many expected Kevin Owens to make a huge leap from the pirate ship set at WrestleMania this year after he declared his desire to do so. Talent and backstage speculation after WrestleMania was that the weather may have prevented that from happening. There was discussions between talent and creative throughout the week, but the match not being no DQ proved a big hurdle. The ship on the set was also a lot larger than many expected, but the weather was the final nail in the coffin. The spot was never planned in the final stages of the match that ended up going on as presented. It just looked like both times this moment was never meant to be. Number 9,
I wish
Jeff
he would have
Hardy
got that.
almost won world title gold. Or when Roman Reigns decided to take a leave of absence from WWE in 2020 due to the start of the pandemic, this meant that the planned and advertised Reigns vs Goldberg Universal title match would be scrapped. WWE needed a new name to go up against Goldberg, and one of the names that was widely reported to be considered was Jeff Hardy.
I've never
was
heard
still
this one.
insanely over with the audience at this point in 2020, and it would have made a lot of sense. But WWE would ultimately decide to go with Braun Strowman,
Man, they
and
should've went
Strowman
with
would go on to defeat
Hardy
Goldberg to
instead.
win his first and only world title in WWE. There was a lot of criticism for this at the time, as fans thought it was 3 years too late when it came to Strowman, and it's easy to see why a lot of the audience held this view. Number 8,
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is the only person to do this. Roman Reigns has been keen to make history during his Tribal Chief run, and his WrestleMania resume is impressive to say the very least.
Yeah.
Reigns is the only person in WWE history to win a world title twice at different WrestleMania events in the same venue. And for some context,
Oh,
Reigns
wow.
won the WWE title from Triple H at WrestleMania 32 at the AT&T Stadium. Then in the same stadium at WrestleMania 38, Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar in the main event to become WWE Champion. Number 7, Matt Cardona's WrestleMania marketing. Matt Cardona, aka Zack Ryder, was so convinced that WWE would book him at WrestleMania 29 versus Dolph Ziggler that he proceeded to spend $20,000 on stickers promoting the match. The former US champion told Renee Paquette's Oral Sessions podcast show that each sticker would carry a DZ versus ZR design, and he wanted to fly a helicopter over New York and release thousands upon thousands of stickers. Now, this is truly an insane idea, and it's easy to see why WWE thought that the idea may have been a little too out there. Unfortunately for Ryder, the match never took place, as instead Ziggler competed for the tag titles, whilst Ryder himself wouldn't even make the card. Number 6,
Damn.
WrestleMania
All that,
20
and
was
then didn't
historic
get
for the
put on the
women's
show.
division. Our modern day WrestleMania event is bound to feature multiple women's matches. However, in 2004, more than one women's match on the card was just unheard of. For the 20th WrestleMania event, the WWE would have 2 women's matches, marking the first time in WrestleMania history that the event had featured 2 distinct all-female matches. There was a Playboy tag team match, which was barely a wrestling match, but it does still count as a featured match though. The second was Victoria versus Molly Holly's hair versus title matchup, a match in which both women had to heavily campaign for. Number 5,
Wow.
WWE almost
I'm glad
did
their
John Cena
women
versus
get
Hulk
more-
Hogan. Now,
more
as we
time.
approach WrestleMania
More
25 in
matches, at least.
2009, one of the matches that was rumored online was John Cena versus Hulk Hogan.
I've
Whilst
never
it seemed
heard
like
this.
a rather random match for the time, this
Maybe
was
I
a
have.
huge WrestleMania and would have served as a mega dream match to deliver on the show. While speaking to Chris Van Fleet, Hogan
I
revealed that the
guess.
match was indeed planned, but due to issues with his back, the match was scrapped. Vince had me all hooked up with Cena, and I said I'll do it. And Vince and I were talking every week, and we're putting the plans together, you know, like the old days where we were in the office every day. Him and I were talking every day. And all of a sudden, I'm on the phone to Vince. I was like, oh my god, my back went out when I was talking to Vince on the phone. I just had back surgery number 3 or 4 at that time, and I had to go right in immediately and get cut up. So that was it for that, but I thought that was going to be my last match. And then, you know, but that never happened. And then it just kind of like faded away. The idea of Cena versus Hogan in 2009 is crazy to think about, and it would have been fascinating to see this go down. Number 4, various endings were taped for
guess.
WrestleMania 36. A WrestleMania
I've heard
36 being
this,
taped in
yeah.
front of 0 fans was one of the most challenging things WWE ever had to do. Due to the fact that WWE knew it was a closed set, they decided to tape multiple endings for the top matches. It was reported at the time that WWE believed that leaks could still occur, and their way of combating this was by shooting several endings. This was likely only done for the top matches that weren't cinematic presentations. Matches such as Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton versus Edge were both matches that were likely given multiple takes. This was incredibly smart from WWE, and whilst it's unlikely that these alternative endings will ever see the light of day, they make for some fascinating what-ifs. Number 3,
I'd like to see
Randy
him, to
Orton's
be honest.
birthday track record. A WrestleMania usually falls within the first week of April, and this means that WrestleMania festivities traditionally fall on Randy Orton's
Not
birthday.
this year.
Randy Orton was born on April 1st, and with endless WrestleMania events taking place on this exact date, this means that the WWE Great has wrestled on his birthday at WrestleMania on more than one occasion. Unfortunately for Orton, his WrestleMania birthday track record is incredibly depressing, as Orton has never won a WrestleMania match on his birthday. At WrestleMania
Dang.
23, he lost the
Come
Money in the
on,
Bank ladder
man.
match, and at WrestleMania 28, he was defeated by the demonic Kane.
Mm.
Number 2, Yokozuna and Drew McIntyre have this in common. And only 2 wrestlers have managed to both win and lose the world title on the exact same night at WrestleMania.
Oh,
At
yeah?
WrestleMania 9, Yokozuna defeated Bret Hart to win the WWE title, only for Yokozuna to be toppled by Hulk Hogan in an impromptu matchup just minutes later. Fast forward to WrestleMania 40, and Drew McIntyre won the world title from Seth Rollins, but his moment was short-lived as Damian Priest would cash in the Money in the Bank to become world champion. Bonus fact,
Yeah.
Drew hates this fact. And number 1, Triple H was gonna box. When WWE were putting
What?
together creative plans for Triple H at WrestleMania 17, they knew they wanted their resident top heel in a key role, and they knew they wanted him in a main event level matchup on the show. WWE's initial idea was for the game to box on the show, and Triple H was legitimately going to box legendary boxer Iron Mike Tyson. But this
Bruh.
was an urban legend for years, but it was actually later confirmed by Triple H himself in a tell-all interview with WWE.com. Every now and then I would get something thrown at me to do something with somebody outside of the business, and I remember that there was a discussion about Super Bowl champion Ray Lewis, and at one point in time there was a discussion with me fighting a big Japanese guy who was the Pride champion. We were trying to work out a deal where he could come to the US and I would go to Japan. I don't remember the guy's name. This was when Ultimate Fighting first got big. The game would then continue by saying the insane amount of money Tyson was asking for led to the cancellation. A lot of
Damn.
ideas get bandied about, but we were going to do me versus Mike Tyson in a boxer versus wrestler match at WrestleMania X7, with Mills Lane and Earl Hebner both in the ring. We were going to do 6 rounds. I don't remember if it was going to be full boxing rules or whether I was wearing gloves, but it ended up being a deal where the whole thing just would have been a ludicrous amount of money, and just got pushed off. A wrestle taker, and that ended up becoming one of my favorite matches. Now in hindsight, the cancellation was probably the right call. WrestleMania 17 is such a beloved and celebrated WrestleMania event, and having the game spending 20 minutes attempting to box may have damaged the legacy of the overall show.
Yeah,
But there you have it, folks.
probably.
41 WrestleMania.
Yeah, those were some pretty interesting facts. That was a lot to get through. So, yeah, that like I said, pretty interesting facts there. A lot of them I kind of already knew, and then some of them I mean, I had no idea. And I mean, a lot of them do sound fake, but according to WrestleMania, they are 100% true. So I'll take his word on it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna get out of here, not waste any more of your time. So until then, I'll see you guys next time right here in the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City. Peace.